Hello guys, what's up? My name is Hollow, and today we are back working on the Top Student series, which it's not really much of a series. It's pretty much just going to be 2 episodes because this is probably going to be the last one. I say probably because the point of this little quote unquote series was to find out how long it takes to become valedictorian. But I didn't become valedictorian this episode. I did graduate twice, actually, but didn't become valedictorian. So we'll talk about that a little later when we actually get to that part and I can actually show you what's going on. But to start off, I just wanted to just go along with the video because I don't really have much of a plan for this. Like last week I had a whole bunch of stuff I could talk to you guys about. And I mean I could still talk to you guys about like personal stuff today, but I want to sort of keep with the video for now. And maybe we'll switch back to other stuff later. But anyways, so I started on the Saturday, like straight off where we finished the last episode. So since it's Saturday, we are actually going to go to prom. For me, every time I've gone to prom, I get like a text message from one of the other students inviting me to like a pre-prom party. And so I go to that first, and then from there it takes me to it. Like I get a pop-up saying it's time for prom, and then you go to prom. So I assume like even if you turn down the pre-prom thing, you'd still get the prom pop-up. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my speech today. This is like the third time I've tried to record this, and I'm just gonna go with it. So I'm sorry if there's like slurred words and stuff. My brain is just not here today. But I'm done trying to record this, so we're just gonna get it done and be over with it. But anyways, so I take them both to prom. So this is actually when I got the pop-up. But it basically, the pre-prom party is just another teen invites you to a house, and a bunch of teens show up, and you just sort of are there. Like nothing happens. They don't really do anything. It's just a bunch of Sims spawn in, and they do what Sims do, which is nothing of importance, right? So it's kind of lame. Like if you put in the story element, like if you were working on actually trying to make a story, you could do something interesting with it. But there's not really very much to do. I mean, you can choose people to go with you as well. So you can choose like if you have like certain friends you want to make sure go there, or like if you have your prom date who you want to go with, you can do that as well. I didn't really do any of that because I didn't bother with storytelling for this bit since we were just trying to figure out how to become valedictorian. But yeah, basically it's just you show up there and you hang out and your Sims do whatever they want for like an hour, and then it offers you to go to prom. And prom is disappointing. Let's just start with that. It's very disappointing. Like most things in this pack, it's a cool idea, but in practice it just didn't turn out. So prom is just like it goes really fast. Like I didn't actually pay attention to how long the actual event is, but it goes so fast because I was trying, it's a gold event, right? So you can get the bronze, silver, or gold depending on what it is. I don't think you actually get anything for getting gold or anything like that, but it is a gold event, so it has like things for you to do. By the way, I still haven't updated my mods, so that's why my UI is still kind of a mess. Sorry about that. But basically I was going through and I spent all of prom just trying to do the things it told me so I could try to get to gold, right? And I didn't finish it. I only got to silver. I didn't get all the way to gold because I ran out of time. And that was purely working on their things. Like I wasn't doing stuff for myself. I wasn't like doing any story building. I was literally just trying to do the gold events. And I didn't do it. So, yeah, prom's really short and really boring. Oh, by the way, Talako got voted the jester, so that's why he's up there. But yeah, when they voted royalty and jester, they just sort of stand there for a long time. As you can see, they were just standing there. So it just wastes a lot of your time, and like you can't really do the stuff you want to do. Like there is some interesting things to do. Like I went with Talako and a different iteration of the save, something I did off camera. I took him to prom, and he was able to like prank the punch and stuff like that. But that's pretty much all you can do. Like you can't like stuff the ballot box or anything like that. So it's just kind of lame. And there was this weirdness here. You saw how like we left prom and then it brought us back to an empty version of it. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. And it's supposed to take you home when prom ends, but it didn't do that for some reason. So yeah, it might be because I was trying to do an interaction as it was trying to take us home. I was trying to take like a photo in the photo booth with Talako. That might have been it, but I don't know. It glitched. But yeah, overall prom just sucked. It was really late. Like, it feel like even if you were putting your own spin on it, like if you were actually taking time to do story building for it, it's so short that you still wouldn't have a good prom. Like, even if you put a lot of effort into it and like you took the time to actually like develop your characters, like there was drama and like they were with their dates, or their friends or whatever, and like you had storylines going, you were like, oh, we're gonna go take pictures, like you wouldn't have any time to actually do it. So the event would end. You'd have to do prom like 3 or 4 times in order to get your whole story played out. So it's kind of a bummer. But yeah, that was prom. That's pretty much all we did for the weekend. I think I spent all of Sunday just working on projects and stuff to try to make sure I got her grades up, because as we ended last week we ended on a B for Friday, and so I just had her work on school projects and her homework and stuff all weekend, so that on Monday she was really close to grading up. So I just sent her in on her own, because if you guys remember, you do have to send your teens in on their own in order for them to actually grade up. So like you can get them all the way into promotion zone, but if you keep going with them to school, they're not going to grade up. You have to actually send them on their own like you would normally do before the pack. So yeah, I sent her on her own on Monday, and she graded up to a student, and then that was pretty much it. It took like one day, maybe two. I think it was just one day to get her like to the top of A student, because I was doing like the homework and the extra credit and a project. So that got her up to an A student, like to the top level of A student. So overall, it took her pretty much 7 days to become like an actual student, like to become the top student, or like a top student. So that's 7 days, like including the 2 that I had to spend like letting her go by herself. So, and that's like 7 full school days. So it took like 9 days overall, but 7 school days. So yeah, that's the basics of it. But yeah, that was pretty much all it took. I mean, it was kind of slow. I mentioned this, that it's a lot slower than it is just doing it on your own. Like doing it without the pack, it's a lot easier to grade them up without the pack. But, you know, if you're playing for story and you're not doing it as like a speed run, then it's fine. It's not that big of a deal that it takes a little longer. So, it's whatever. But the thing that's like really annoying is just, again, like the same thing with Talako. There's just nothing else I can do to make her a better student. Like there was nothing I could do to work on her grade more. So it was really kind of annoying. So, I mean, like once you get past C, like once you're up into B and A, you grade up really easy. It doesn't take very much time at all. Like you just do a little bit of extra credit and you're there. But for, I don't know, it's just like there's nothing you can do in school. Like when you go to school, everybody goes to class and everybody takes notes. There's nothing extra you can do if you want to be like the top student, which is really annoying. But yeah, by the way, if you see all the stuttering and all the like long pauses in my game, that's just how it played. I didn't do anything to it. I let it play as it wanted. Like I didn't edit the footage at all. I just cut it down. Not cut it down. I sped it up to 600 times speed, and that's it. So any stuttering and stuff, any pauses you see, that's my game freezing. Those are the stutters that I actually had in game, which were a lot. By the way, there were a lot of issues. I still had a lot of the stuttering, a lot of the freezing that I did last time, but I also had a lot of routing issues where they wouldn't do stuff. They'd be in the middle of something and then they just cancel it. They'd be like, no, I can't do that anymore. And for example, Issei has this lamp in her room that she's never had a problem getting around. In any of the other videos that we've been with this family. She's never had a problem of getting around that lamp before, but she randomly decided that she couldn't walk past that lamp one day. So I had to move the lamp, and that's never bothered her before. You might have seen it a little bit earlier. She was making grilled cheese, and it just canceled. It just said she couldn't do it at the very end. She finished making the food, but it said she couldn't move it to the counter, even though there were like 4 counters available plus tables. So I don't know what happened with that. It's just a lot of weird things like that. There's also things where it's just canceling my interactions for no reason. Like I queue up stuff for them and then they just cancel it out of nowhere. It's not saying they can't get to it. It's not saying they can't do it. It just cancels. And then there'll be times where I have like a full queue. I'll have like 4 or 5 things queued up, and then it'll delete everything but the very last one. So it would only do the last thing that you told them to do, and it would skip everything before it. So yeah, a lot of issues. Plus just like things that are just like annoying is she kept going to the lattice in the back to climb up the ladder rather than going in through the front door. Like there's one point where I don't know if you'll actually be able to see it in the video. It might go too fast, but she was literally standing in front of the front door, and instead of walking through the front door, she decided to get off the porch and walk around the back of the house and climb up the lattice, which was so annoying. But yeah, that's what I've been dealing with for this so far. So it's been a lot of glitching, a lot of issues like that. And I mean, again, I didn't update my mods yet, so some of that might be on me, but I think the majority of it is just the game. But yeah, that's sort of how that went. So, what else is going on? I don't think there was much else that happened. I know there's a career day. We did have a career day that showed up, and it was basically just the second half of the school day, where like you still had morning classes and everything, but for the second half of the school day, they take you to the auditorium, and they put up like 3 little tables with different Sims, like townies, that show up to represent their careers, which is, I mean, it's a thing. The tables are exactly the same, so there's nothing unique for the different careers. They're all exactly the same. And I mean, the people that show up actually are set to the proper career, I think. Because I got, who did I have? I had Raj from City Living, and he's a chef. I had, oh my god, I cannot remember his name. Something Laurent from the wedding pack. I don't know what he is. I haven't really paid that much attention to the wedding pack, so I have no idea what he is. And I had, Jacques, why can't I say his name? Whatever. I had Villarreal, the Villarreal guy who's a criminal, and he was actually set up as a criminal. So I think it was nice that they at least like paid attention to what the Sims actually were, and they actually showed up in their proper professions. But yeah, there wasn't really much to do about it. And like the goals for it were just like you go and you talk to them and you just like ask about possibilities and stuff, and like you don't get a moodlet, you don't get any like pop-ups, you don't get any interests. Like there's nothing. Again, it was just something where it's a cool idea, but there was no substance to it, so there's no point, right? So yeah, it's just, this whole pack is filled with stuff like that, where there's just so many cool ideas, so many good ideas, but there's just no substance to them. Like I mean, since this is probably going to be the last episode on high school year stuff anyways, I'm just going to give you my overall review now. For this pack, I would suggest not buying it. Straight up, like a lot of packs, I'm like, oh well, if you like this thing, you might still want it, even if you don't like this thing. For this one, I just say don't buy it. Just don't. There's too many gameplay issues. There's bugs there's a lot of bugs, and it's just, the gameplay is just so trash. There's nothing to it. There's no substance to the pack. It's full of so many good ideas that go absolutely nowhere, and it's such a disappointment. And like, if you're looking for gameplay, absolutely 100% do not buy this pack. The gameplay is shit. Don't buy it. There's no gameplay. There is no gameplay. You have to do everything yourself. There's nothing actual, like, there's no actual movement. There's no progression with the gameplay in this pack. Don't bother. If you're looking for build buy or a cast, yes, the items are nice for this, but CC exists, and CC is free. And you could get a lot of this stuff, or stuff that looks very similar, via CC. So I just do that instead. Because, like, with CC, you have, like, a lot more customization stuff, too. So I just go CC. I wouldn't bother. I mean, that's not really a fair thing to say. Because if you're console, you're kind of stuck, which is the super unfortunate thing. But, I mean, if you're PC like me, just don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's not worth it. Just get CC instead. If you hear barking, that is my dog Joey. I don't know what he's barking at, but he's going. Sorry about that. But yeah. Anyways, I think this is her last day of high school right now, or at least her first last day of high school. I'm not entirely sure. It might be a little close. Yeah, because I was looking at this stuff. No, okay, so it's her second to last day. She still has one more after this, I think. But anyways, back to the actual review bit. So for this pack, there's so many good ideas that just went nowhere. Like the boardwalk is super cool, but it's just a bunch of rabbit holes. You can't even do anything once you're on them. Like there's no interactions. Just like with class. Like you go and you sit in class and you watch your sim do nothing for an hour. It's like you can't tell them to pass notes. You can't tell them to listen intently. You can't tell them to disrupt class. You can't tell them to like make jokes. Like there's nothing. And you can't do anything with the boardwalk either. You go and you get on the ride and it's a rabbit hole where you can't actually do anything on the ride and there's nothing to do. You don't get a moodlet, you don't get anything from it. They're useless. So there's so many things like that where they're really cool ideas that just don't go anywhere. Like high school in itself is a cool idea. It had a lot of cool potential, but there's just nothing. You just watch your kids, you sit in class and do nothing for an hour. Like, as I was saying, like, you could get stuff like pass notes, talk to a classmate, like, whisper to a classmate, interrupt the teacher, throw a paper plane or something. I don't know. Play the paper football thing. I don't know. There's so many things you could have done. Just as, like, little tiny things just to, like, give your Sims a little bit of character. Because not all people just go to class and just sit there. You don't, like, in high school, people don't just go from either I'm sitting in class taking notes or I don't show up to class. It's just, there's a lot of in between. And there's none of that in this game. There's none of that in this pack. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing is just really disappointing to me because there was so much potential. Like prom could have been really cool. And like the venue looked nice. All the stuff was there. All the elements were there. It's just, you don't have any time to do it. You don't have any, like there's photo booths and like photo walls and all that stuff. There's punch and you can actually prank the punch there, which is a cool thing. But there's nothing else. Like you don't have any time to do it. Like you'd have to go to prom so many times. I mean, I guess prom is once a week, so I mean you could do it, but that's so annoying. Like I don't know, it's just I don't know. I don't really like it. There's a lot of things about this pack that really make me sad. Trendy was super cool. It sounded so cool, but then when I actually tried to do it, I couldn't understand it. And like as I said in that episode where we were talking about Trendy, like there's no reason for me not to be able to understand it. If you are going to ship this pack to me, everything that I need to know about how to make the pack run should be in the pack. Like, I shouldn't have to go trying to look up how to make Trendy work. I shouldn't have to go and like try to figure out, I shouldn't have to go watch other people struggle to figure it out on YouTube to try to figure it out myself. You know, I should be able to look at the game and it should be intuitive, you know? And that's just not the way it is. Thrifty, super cool idea, super cute little shop, looks great, feels great, it's got a good vibe, but you can't actually make your Sims like browse stuff. You have to wait for them to do it themselves. And then even if you browse all day long, you still don't find anything. And it's just, I don't know, there's just so many issues with it. There's so many things that were so cool in theory, but then they're just so empty when it actually comes to it. So I don't know. I don't really suggest this pack. I would definitely say don't go for it. I mean, if you're a console player and you really want the build buy and the cast and you can't get mods because you're on console, then yeah, if you're willing to spend the money to get cool build buy and cool cast, buy it. But don't look for gameplay. You aren't going to get any gameplay from this pack. You aren't. You just aren't. But anyways, we are now going into Issei's last day of school. Or at least her first last day of school. You might have caught it in there. I actually saved that night because I was worried that something might go wrong because I'd been checking the calendar and I saw her birthday coming up, so she's about to turn into a young adult, but there's no graduation anywhere. So I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just saved it just to be sure. So this is her last day of school, or at least the first one, and everything goes same as normal. Nothing pops up. There's nothing interesting. She just goes through, does her day, and then the school day ends and nothing happens. There's nothing to tell me anything. And so I sort of got nervous because at the end of every day since she became an A student, she gets a text from some random person asking her if she wants to graduate early. And since I hadn't seen anything about graduation, there was nothing on my calendar, she was about to age up, I was like, fine, we'll just go with the text this time. So I got a text about it this time, and I just said, yeah, okay, give me early graduation, it's fine. And then she just instantly graduated, and that was it. There was no, your graduation ceremony is this day, there's no, you're gonna finish out the week and then you're done. Like, she literally accepted it, and then she gets a pop-up right here, the early graduate pop-up, and it gives her like a little, it shows her like a picture of her in the rig out and everything, but she doesn't actually go. So I don't know. So here's where I exited and reloaded to my save, and then I played through the whole night by myself. So I just bring you guys back when we go back to school. So we're literally just starting her last day of school over again, and basically it goes the same way. I mean, there's one pop-up that was different. She got like a random pop-up at the end of the last day, but this one she didn't get that pop-up, so it was whatever. But nothing happened. She finished the school day. There was no pop-up, no hey, you're graduating, no hey, you're about to become an adult, do you want to, like, there's nothing. There's no idea of what I'm supposed to do for graduation. So she just finished the day, she went home, and then she aged up and got a different pop-up where she graduated immediately. And it was, I don't know. I mean, she graduated with honors, which is nice, which is pretty much as close as you can get to being valedictorian, I guess. But I thought I was actually supposed to be able to be valedictorian. I thought I was actually supposed to be able to go to the auditorium and graduate, and that didn't happen for me, and I don't know why. And like, I thought, okay, well, maybe it just tells you graduate, but then it adds like an actual graduation event. But no graduation event. I checked the calendar multiple times. I checked different days. Like, I was looking at, like, because I think the day she actually finishes is a Thursday. Is that what it says? Yes, it's Thursday. So she finished on a Thursday. So I checked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there was no events. There were events, but none of them were graduation. So yeah, I don't know. There was nothing to it. She just graduated, and she just finished on her own. And I don't know, she aged up, she graduated, and that was it. And the pop-up's about to come up, and I'm actually going to slow it down here for you guys so you can sort of see it. But yeah, she just graduates, and that's it. And she got the pop-up. This time it's somebody else. Actually, the other person might have been someone else too. She just had the same hair and sort of skin tone. But yeah, it was probably someone else. But yeah, they just have like the little pop-up where they say that she graduated with honors. She's not valedictorian, and there's nothing following up. So like, I check the calendar, and like, I'm trying to figure it out in the calendar. So I go through and like, I'm looking at everything, but it's not on there. It's not on there anywhere. So if you know how to become valedictorian, please let me know, because I don't know, and I did not figure it out. And I know that was sort of the point of this whole thing, but I'm just so done with this pack at this point. So I'm not going to be making anything else. I mean, unless you guys really, really want to see something, I'm not going to do it myself. So if you guys are interested in something, let me know, and I'll come back to it, revisit it for you guys. But otherwise, I'm done with this. This pack is so disappointing to me on so many levels, and I'm done. So yeah, the pack sucks. Let's just put it that way. The pack sucks. It didn't work. It didn't go the way it was supposed to. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it. So I'm done with high school years. I'm not sure what other content we're gonna come back to. I might try to get some mod work stuff done coming for you guys soon. Maybe do some like CC shopping, something like that. But yeah, this is where I'm leaving high school years. So I hope you guys enjoyed at least some of it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!